Hey guys, Jackdaw here. Following the recent EA Play tease and our lack of knowledge regarding Dragon Age 4's next trailer reveal, I've been inspired to create a new mini-series paving the road for the anticipated release of the next Dragon Age game. I shall be creating very specific videos delving into particular honed-in lore and plot threads that are rather telling for the future narrative of Dragon Age. Basically, this series is a refresher to prep everyone's knowledge up to the same speed before Dragon Age 4 arrives. As FuzzleCon says, this is going to be a TLDR of Dragon Age lore. I aim to make these videos as short as possible because there's a lot of lore that needs to be unearthed. With that, let's divulge the first topic that'll be ever so present in the next Dragon Age, and that is the living substance known as Red Lyrium. Contaminated with the blight known to thin the veil and forces anyone who dare wield it to go mad. There's a lot we've got to talk about regarding this most blighted material. However, in order for us to foreshadow what involvement Red Lyrium may have in the future, we've got to excavate its original source, raw lyrium. Regular, non-tainted lyrium is a mineral constantly mined for its properties. It has many purposes in Thedas today. The dwarves have built a trade empire, mining and selling the material across the entire continent because of its usage. This trade is the main reason why Tevinter and the Dwarven Kingdoms have such a close relationship. Lyrium is essentially a mana booster, able to strengthen one's magical power beyond what anyone might naturally muster. When mixed into a liquid and ingested, lyrium allows mages to enter the Fade consciously, so it's no wonder the mages of the Imperium have such a secure trade of this substance. While mages combine lyrium with spells and rituals, Templars ingest the substance to enhance their abilities at resisting and dispelling magic, while the dwarves and non-magic wielders use lyrium to create magical ruins and enchant items. Even the Qunari were intrigued by its usage and began experimenting with the properties of lyrium to bulk up their own mages called Sarabas. In the current Dragon Age, lyrium has become a beneficial and essential mineral for the majority of Thedas, it seems. As lyrium exists in both the physical world and the Fade, the Chantry believes lyrium to be the emerald waters of the Fade, the very substance of creation itself, while others call lyrium a conductor that bridges the gap between the dreamer's world and the waking world. Whatever the truth is, there's a lot beyond the surface regarding this powerful substance that the common Theodosian may never know. The dwarves call lyrium Isana, which translates to singing stone. This is because lyrium is in fact a living substance. It's said to be the very blood of the world-shaping titans. According to their children, the dwarves, the legendary ancient beings known as the Titans, sculpted the world. Their earthquakes are apparently their methods of reshaping Thedas to their own accord. Now, whether the Titans or these pillars of the earth created Thedas and have since been dwelling on Thedas since the beginning of creation itself is still a rather ambiguous mystery. However, based on many codex entries, we can confirm that the Titans existed before the Veil was created. In actuality, before the Veil's creation, the kingdom of the Elven hunted and declared war against the Titans, stating their death will be a mercy and will make the earth blossom with their passing. Mafal, All-Mother of the Elven Pantheon, struck down a Titan as the people praised her name, and with the defeat of a Titan, the ancient elves discovered lyrium from its body. The elves continued to fight with the Titans, mining their bodies for raw lyrium and something else, which has still been made unclear. While I'm trying not to theorise and speculate, because we all know Jackdaw loves to put on the tinfoil hat, Cole did once say that
they made bodies from the earth, and the earth was afraid. It fought back, but they made it forget.
Presuming the earth relates to the Titans, perhaps the ancient elves made lyrium bodies from the Titans' blood, being lyrium, crafting strong, resilient vessels for the Evanurus and their people to inhabit, continuing their savage hunt against the Titans so they could create more bodies, thus explaining the fall and disconnect of the Titans from their children, the dwarves, justifying why the Dwarven Kingdom have grown disattached to their creators throughout the ages, and only now have begun to re-establish that connection once more. In any regard, the Titans were not completely silenced. They slumbered for years, and somewhere down the line, Red Lyrium somehow came into existence. Perhaps caused by the Evanurus War, or perhaps self-inflicted by the Titans themselves. We don't rightly know. Just like the Blight, Red Lyrium's origin is still a huge enigma. However, we do know that the spread of Red Lyrium has merely just begun for Thedas. The red corrupted substance is a perverted form of raw lyrium. Just like its predecessor, red lyrium is alive. It has a life spring and it grows and multiplies across Thedas. It too ties power between the waking world and the Fade. As discovered by Bianca Davry, red lyrium carries the Blight, explaining its twisted form. Unlike regular lyrium, which requires you to digest it in order for it to impact you, red lyrium corrupts everything it touches. Being in close proximity to it will greatly affect you. And this substance is most unique. It can thin the veil, allowing spirits and demons to interact with the real world. And prolonged exposure will not only change your mental outlook, but your physical appearance too. It tends to leave people or animals in a mad-like state. They become paranoid and see no reasoning for morality. As Bartrand sabotages his own brother Varric, red lyrium tends to consume the mind and take over, much like the reasoning for the Red Templars in Inquisition. Red lyrium is very deadly and will grow off anything living. Now, speaking more specifically on red lyrium's growth, because I feel it's even more relevant with the EA Play tease, its corruption throughout the land has merely just begun, and attempting to remove the mineral is likely a fruitless effort, as it will have already affected and introduced itself into the food chain, which begets more corruption. You see, as red lyrium affects everything it touches, it will in turn affect the soil. Insects will digest blighted soil, animals will then digest blighted insects, and so on. This will have a knock-on effect through all of Thedas. More animals, plants and trees will become tainted by merely following their own survival instincts, until eventually the people of Thedas are infected by their own harvest. While a lot of the growth of red lyrium has been caused by the hands of many Theodosians, the Red Templars, to call someone out, a great deal of its development into the ecosystem has simply been made inevitable. It's merely a matter of days until a Ferelden farmer has spoiled crops, an Orlesian noble eats an infected nug, and a predator hunting its prey soon becomes blighted. And that's not all that lingers for the future. Red lyrium has plenty of involvement in many scenarios that still await Thedas. For example, the Titan's connection. When Valta connected with a Titan, she felt pure, wasn't afraid anymore, and could somehow survive without needing food or water, as if the Titan's essence was her sole sustenance. And once Valta connected with this Titan, realizing that the Titan had connected with one of their children, it stopped its tremors throughout the land. Valta established a longing connection with the dwarves' supposed creators, as adult and child rekindled once more. Valta's consciousness intertwined with the knowledge of the Titans, vital information that would shake up the entirety of the Dwarven Kingdom's foundation. With Valta's connection, surely the Titans seek to find the rest of their children, becoming one once more. The Red Lyrium Idol. This idol is still a mystery. The MacGuffin was brought back into Winter Nights. Instead of being destroyed by Meredith as she created her sword Certainty, it stayed within her statue-like corpse, preserved for a fair while. It's been described as a couple hugging, too thin to be dwarves, or a god mourning their sacrifice. However, disregarding what it supposedly looks like, this idol belongs to Solas. It's his, he wants it back, and he has a purpose for it. Now the idol's current whereabouts have been set up for interpretation. We can assume that the idol is either with a noble son heading to War-Tont-Vinter, or Solas has indeed collected his long-lost possession after some time. Again, we can only assume at this point where it may be and why Solas requires it. Red Lyrium Sarcophagus. In Dragon Age Blue Wraith, the most recently released comic book roster, the comic cast uncover a Lyrium Sarcophagus, originally utilized for Fenris's transformation into a Blue Wraith. The device infuses the occupant with Lyrium markings that grant the host with immense power, like the ability to go through walls and tear an adversary's heart right out of their chest. Towards the end of Blue Wraith, we understand that the Venatori have this device and intend on willingly putting one of Fenris's trusted friends through the device using red lyrium to make a most formidable, unstoppable warrior. If successful, perhaps this practice may become common in Tevinter for the remaining Venatori and their elven slaves. New clusters of lyrium. Discovered briefly in Tevinter Nights, The Horror of Hormak, other colours and variations of lyrium seemingly exist. A massive lyrium crystal glowing yellow and green hung suspended deep within a lost dwarven tyke. With more variations of lyrium deep underground locked away, perhaps we'll begin to see different properties of this mineral. Who knows, perhaps these different colours could even lead to other titans waking up across Phadis. And finally, the origin of the Blight. Of course, we need to comprehend how the Blight began. I do believe the Blight's origin does have something to do with the Titans' war between the Evanuris, because suddenly red lyrium pops into the picture and the Elven Pantheon are becoming mad, with armies of the void turning against each other. Perhaps a blighted titan is the original source of the Blight, as it reaches out for revenge against the Evanuris, attempting to re-establish the connection with their children once more, destroying everything else in its path. But even still, there's nothing quite concrete regarding red lyrium and the Blight's origin, and if the two plots even intertwine. We know red lyrium carries the Blight, but that doesn't necessarily mean it is the Blight or it is the origin of the Blight. Regardless, we have so many mysteries and so much to go on for the future of Dragon Age. This is it for my first entry in this Road to Dragon Age 4 series. Let me know what you think of it and tell me your potential theories for the future Dragon Age narrative. Do you have any lore/plot thread ideas that need to be unearthed for the future Dragon Age narrative? Let me know in the comment section down below, and I'll be sure to add it to my recollections of lore to do in the future. Before I leave you, on behalf of For the Fans, By the Fans, I'm super excited to promote Dragon Age FanForge. FanForges are contests run by artists, and the best designs win awesome prizes and have their artwork printed on merch, where they actually earn a commission off each piece sold. You can check out the previous winners' designs and even buy one for yourself on their website, link in the description down below. But until the next one, guys, check out my Instagram, Patreon, Twitch. I've been Jackdaw, but I should go. Whoa, 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 whoa.